This is Garage Guy Sports, and this is our Red Wave Postgame show. Coming to you on a Friday after a Thursday night game against Colorado State, which saw Fresno State get their first win of the season, and Kalen DeBoer's first win as a Fresno State head coach. There were some key moments and some great players last night. Without further ado, let's get into the action. Fresno State started the game by forcing a 3-and-out of Colorado State, which was huge for that defense, especially coming off the performances they had against Hawaii, where they just didn't look as sharp. They looked a lot better today and got off the field when they needed to, especially off this first drive. Fresno State then obtained possession, and their offense marched down the field, looked great to start the game. Ronnie Rivers catches a 13-yard touchdown pass from Jake Haener to give Fresno State the lead at 7-0 to cap a 12-play, 86-yard drive. State then allows some big quarterback runs to the Colorado State quarterback, Todd Centero, on the following drive. Todd Centero, of course, the Temple transfer, who beat out Pat O'Brien for the job and just got the start last night, to the surprise of a lot of people. But Fresno State bends and does not break and holds Colorado State to a field goal on that drive, still taking the lead 7-3. State offense stalls out, and this will be big, and you'll see why as Kalen DeBoer pulled Jake Haener after this disappointing second drive of the game. So the Fresno State offense stalled out, punts the ball to CSU. CSU then marches down the field and caps off their drive with a big run in the corner of the end zone. State gave up a lot of big runs again, and CSU takes the lead at 10-7. So DeBoer replaces Haener for sophomore quarterback Ben Woolridge from Pleasanton, California, who did a pretty good job driving the Dogs down the field. They did have to settle for a field goal after a catch in the end zone got called back because the receiver stepped out of bounds. But they looked pretty good, and they get a field goal to tie the game at 10-10. And I will praise Coach DeBoer here. He pulled his quarterback when he needed to show him, hey, listen, you're the Washington transfer. You're the most talented quarterback in this team. But if you're not going to play up to our level, then this job isn't going to be yours. And Jake Haener answered for the rest of the game. But after this field goal, State gives the ball back, but then they force a 3-and-out, retain possession. Haener marches back out onto the field, converts some key third and fourth downs on a great drive, and Ronnie Rivers ends up capping off this drive with a long touchdown run. But this was the story of the game, really, was State's ability to stay on the field and convert these third and fourth downs. Just tremendous. The following drive, State defense forces Sendeo to throw an incomplete pass and get the ball back before half. Haener then leads the offense downfield again. He encounters a big 3rd and 19, but passes the ball to Ronnie Rivers up the middle, who scampers to a first down. And this drive was capped by a 15-yard reception by Jordan Mims for the touchdown. And State takes the lead 24-10 to end the half. And that capped off a 10-play, 91-yard drive to end the half and to take a 2-touchdown lead. State just looked unstoppable at times on offense. And they worked with a long field most of the game. Their defense didn't really, and the hats off to the Colorado State punter. He's phenomenal, Stonehouse. He was pinning them deep. So State had to work with long fields all game, and they showed that they were up to the task. They just drove the ball down the field. And Colorado State wasn't necessarily playing bad defense, but that offense was just clicking this week. They looked great, especially that first half. We'll pick it up in the second half. And I'm playing some highlights, so I'm hoping you guys are seeing that. That's my new hand motion. And let's pick it up in the second half. So they started back the second half by trading 3-and-outs. And then the Bulldog D forces a turnover on downs on a 4th and 7 by getting to the quarterback, Sendejo, and creating an incomplete pass by creating so much pressure up the middle on Sendejo, and it just looked like that. When pressure was in his face, this kid was just incomplete all game long. State gets possession. Key pass to freshman Josh Kelly, who had a really good, really solid game last night. And I see a bright future for this kid at State if he keeps playing the way he did last night. And they convert another key 4th down with a Jake Haener run and just barely get it after a huge 3rd and 18 play. And it was just, that was the story of the game. This offense on 3rd and 4th down just would not be denied. They were just picking them up. And it was awesome. It was really cool to see and really awesome. So you had that big 3rd and 18 play led to this Jake Haener run, just phenomenal. Rivers caps off the drive by taking it in the Wildcat, takes it right up the gut into the end zone, and he's just climbing up that touchdown leaderboard for Fresno State's all-time touchdown from scrimmage leaders, and just a great Bulldog, and I think cemented his legacy, if not last season or the season before. Last night just looked like the leader and just looked in control of the whole game, just would not be denied. Even if he was stopped at the line, he'd still fall forward for 2-3 extra yards. Ronnie Rivers, hats off to you, man. You looked phenomenal last night. And the D goes back out on the field after that drive, forces a turnover. David Perales, huge fumble recovery to give the offense finally a short field to work with. And work with it they did. They faced another key 3rd down in which Ronnie Rivers got a huge run to set the Bulldogs up, 1st and goal. They finally fit Jalen Cropper into the mix in the end zone, get him out. Jake Haener hits him for a nice little touchdown to cement the game pretty much at 38-10. The final was 38-17, but that 38-10 lead just felt like the nail in the coffin. 28-point lead, it was done at that point. The offense just looked absolutely incredible last night. Jake Haener was 22 of 32 for 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the key and the big change from last week, 0 interceptions. So it went from 3 interceptions last week, 3 touchdowns this week. Looked a million times better. Just phenomenal. Ronnie Rivers was the player of the game. He had 23 carries, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the ground. And in the air, he had 5 receptions, 69 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jordan Mims added to that receiving total for the running backs with 3 receptions of his own, 40 yards, and a touchdown. So Fresno State's running backs out of the backfield, and we'll see if they stay the same moving forward, receiving out of the backfield. They combined for 8 receptions, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I liked what they were doing. Everything was covered downfield, and they would just hit a back out of the backfield, and they would just scurry up the sidelines. It looked phenomenal. Like that offense, like I said last show, the game versus Hawaii, it looked like they were running when they should pass, and they were passing when they should run. They just didn't look in sync. You could tell they really went back to the lab this week and just said, hey, guys, look, we are a good offense. We just need to call the right plays at the right time. And that's exactly what they did. The offensive line was great. The receivers played well. The tight ends blocked well. They got great kick-out blocks. Jake Haener played well at the quarterback position. The running backs were great in the ground. They were great getting chip blocks. They were great receiving the ball. Just all-around effort by the offense was amazing. And I don't want to take anything away from the defense. Because David Perales, last week it was Kwame Jones with 3 sacks. This week it was David Perales was the defensive player of the game. He had 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and that key fumble recovery that we showed you earlier. David Perales, the kid from Merced, absolute beast on that defensive line. And he's just a will player. Every play he's in it. He's just, that motor just keeps going. Very high motor, very good character kid. Just looked phenomenal last night. Another defensive player I want to point out is number 32, Evan Williams, the sophomore from Campbell, California. He led the team with 7 tackles last night, looked absolutely aggressive. And I love seeing defensive backs come up and being aggressive. He looked great. So hats off to you, Evan Williams. I hope you see this or hear this and feel good about yourself. You should feel good about yourself regardless if you hear. I don't matter if you hear me or not. You had a phenomenal game last night. We all saw you flying around the field. You looked great. Hats off to the Dogs. They looked great. I'm flying high after this win, as I hope all of you are. I hope you guys have a great Halloween, a great weekend. Go Dogs. And it was just phenomenal. Thank you guys so much, and you guys have a good weekend.